Hey guys, BBI here. I want to stop and say thanks for tuning in and checking out whatever the video is about that's about ready to come up next. If you could take a minute and hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, make sure to hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Anyhow, guys, all that aside, let's get on with the show. Well, I guess if I'm going to start on this, I should probably start a video. Over here, we've got a very rare specimen. This is a Varmint XL1000 mobile DC amplifier, sweep tube base amplifier. It's got some problems. I ordered up all the parts today to fix this. One of the major things is a high, medium, and low switch, but it's okay. I was able to get that switch. What we're here to talk about today is this D&A. This is all the tubes and some other parts he felt I needed, so he sent those up with it. He sent me quite a bit of documentation here along with it. Okay, D&A triple stage Phantom 10 tube repair. Hi, my name is... We're going to leave that out. My phone numbers are... I'm going to leave that out. Call day or night. I would like to send you this amp to get it repaired by youtbe. It's not in the best shape. It's pretty rough. I bought it like that. I received the exact date when I plugged it in. I would like to see it perform as it should. I'm not interested in bird than P2P with good equipment, and if possible to perform on 2 meters, 6 meters, 10 meters, 11 meters, 12, 20, 40, 80, and 60. Then he says in parentheses, I think I'm dreaming. Well, you definitely are in the 6 and the 2 meters for sure. The tube won't go that high. I think we're going to have a really hard time getting it to work anything from 20 and below. So maybe 20, 12, 11, and 10. Anyhow, I don't know if it's possible. You're the expert. I'm just a learner on this hobby. My wife and my family and my friends think that this amp is a piece of junk from World War II. It's not. It's from the 1970s, 1980s. I want to prove they are completely wrong. Some people like it. I love this type of equipment. I have more photos if you need them. Okay. Then he follows that up with a full schematic, and then the Phantom triple stage. And all the paperwork I'm sure he's able to find online. Okay, well, we don't need any of this. Don't need any of this. Got it all up in my brain bag. Let's take a quick look on the inside. We're going to do this together. I don't like working on these. The parts are getting really hard to find. Usually when they show up here, they're in worse condition than this. So this is actually in fairly good shape. Let's move our very precious tubes out of the way. Let's take a look at the inside here. We've had multiple explosions in here, as we can all clearly see. We've had our rectifier circuit blow up at some point or another. Key and circuit's been gone through once or twice. I don't trust the bleeders, so I should probably keep my hands out of this end of the cabinet. Up here, we've had several explosions as well. Lots of stuff burn up. Yeah, this is interesting. Let's go take a look at the front. Got our band switch up here. I'm at saying 10 through 40. Maybe. It was really only designed to be running 10. They put this in here as them trying to dog the FCC for the most part. So, our switches are broken. The front cabinet is bent here. It's bent. Folded in over here. Whew. Wow, look at that input resistor. Somebody has drove the shit out of this thing. Look at this. Completely burned up. Because we got to get every last watt of it out of it as we can. So here's the make or break deal. The tubes for this are not unobtainium, but they're pretty hard to find. Okay. So what we're going to do first is we're going to check all of our tubes. If there's too many of the tubes that are low or bad, that is going to very, very clearly dictate to us if this is worth fixing or not. The on-off switches and so on being literally broken. That's all stuff that we can repair, but it's going to come down to the replacement cost of the tubes. So let me clean all this mess up, and when we come back, we'll have the 747 tube tester out here and we'll start. Okay, so we got our tubes out of the paper. We've got our Sharpie. 6LQ6, we set the heater at 6. The heater is at 6. We set our sensitivity at 55. We use socket number 13. Oop, 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 oop. Socket number 13. And C. Hook it up to Z. Now we sit here and we give the tube just a couple seconds. Let it warm up, kind of come to fruition here. And these are the untested tubes, and then over here we're going to set the tested tubes down. So test 2, test 1. That's no good. No grid, no shorts. It's at 20%. Now there's going to be people out there that are going to be like, well, you got to hold that down there and let it heat up a little bit. Doesn't help that much. It'll bring it up 1 or 2%. I'll give you an example. Bad. This is 20% to 0% BAD, exclamation point. So put this tube over here. Turn the tester on. Tube does light up, as we can clearly see. Give it a minute or so. Now, we're not going to be glass racist, okay? What I mean by that is we're not going to go hating on this thing just because it's a sweep tube. I love sweep tube amplifiers. I just don't like working on them anymore. They're incredibly time consuming. They're very hard to find the parts for. And I'm not interested in doing any tube conversions. I get this phone call probably 3 times a month. Hey, BBI, if I send you my, let's say, Palomar 300A, will you go in there and convert that for me so it runs on a 35-volt tube that there's still 10 million of those running around? The answer to that question is no. I don't. One, I don't want to go about changing the sockets out of the whole cabinet, which are mostly assembled with pop rivets. It's too big of a pain in the ass. It's not. You'll spend more money paying for that conversion than it'll cost for us to actually go out and buy the actual tubes that are still available. Test 2. See, this is why you never know. That one tube is at 20%. This one is at about 65% and falling. No grid shorts, no grid, no bad high emissions. Okay, so 80%, and then we put it underneath a load. We're gonna hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. and it's falling. And falling. And falling. Okay, we're going to call this one 70%. 70%. So not that I'm hating on glass. Because I'm not. This is where I got my start. I was working on all these little sleep tube linears for everybody around here. Okay. So is the tube heating up? Tube is heating up. So now if you rush in on it, this one's bad, completely bad. Here it comes, very slowly. Here it comes. This is a very low gain tube. I gotta show this as part of the video. This is just as pain in the butt as checking transistors. You gotta be very clear, very transparent. Or call that one 25%. This needs to go directly into the trash. So 25%. Bad. Bad. Okay. A couple of the pins that aren't quite straight, and you got to be really careful when you bend them. You got to get the tongue hanging out of the cheek and out of the mouth just right. Okay. So I normally take from my birthday to the end of the year off, which is the 23rd of December. I take that whole week and I just try not to be out here in this space. I still answer the phone. I just try not to be physically out here doing any work. And I got to tell you, I did it this last year, and it was tough. It was tough not to come out here and have that soldering iron going. I'm here to tell you, I was good. Yeah, this one's also iffy. We'll come back. Grid, shorts, nothing. We'll leave that needle dance around. We'll call this 65%. Now tubes are like transistors a little bit. We're doing a lot of paralleling here. So we'll say this is 65%. And I can't certify that as good. So it's got to go in the bad pile. It's right on the borderline of emissions. But you want to have them all at about the same gain. Now, does it really hurt anything? Does it drag anything? It can, but it doesn't really. It's better if you have all the same output level. Like, can you go put a 100% tube with a 20% tube? That 20% tube is still doing a little bit of work because it's paralleled. It's not like we got this, in this particular amplifier, it's not like we're doing a push-pull configuration. It's all series parallel, so. We got no shorts. All right, let's see where we wind up. It's been a challenge this last week. I didn't do anything, come to find out. I just sat around and, believe it or not, watched TV and just let myself mentally take a break. I mean, seriously, just chilled out and took a break. Wow, this tube is tired. Look at this. So now we can take it, jack the sensitivity all the way to 100 and it's still low. But the book says 55. This is done. This tube is done. It's a 6LQ6, different manufacturer. 0 bad. Well, I haven't checked the current price for 6LQ6 tubes here lately. I have no idea, so let's go take a quick look. Oh, let's see. Brand new in the box, $67, but these are all untested. Tested, $27, but that's 2. One 6LQ6, 6 available, $45 a piece. So, God, they vary all over the place, but it's like a crapshoot. So, we'll say roughly that you're going to spend about $60 a tube because you got to figure you're going to buy a couple extra. So, we're at $240 worth of unusable tubes. It's another one that's flat. Absolutely flat. What do I mean by that last statement, how do I quantify that? Well, what do they mean by tested? You don't know that. So when you get on eBay, you don't really know what you're buying. You really don't. So you got to figure, okay, if I buy 6 tubes from a guy, I could probably count on maybe one of them not being that great. So you might end up needing to buy 12 tubes to redo a 10-tube amplifier. That's where that extra costs. So we'll just say $50 roughly a tube. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Amount are you gonna take off, or you gonna putter out around 20 like the rest of these? Oh, oh. There's 30. There's 30. Oh, we're slowing down. 30, 35, 30, 32, 33. Uh, 40. 40. Jeez. 38. Okay. Bad once again. Percent. Bad. We're going to come across one of these that's going to be good. Because I think this is a 2-drive and 8, if I'm not mistaken. Shorts. Let's just chill out for a minute. So let's say I spend 2 hours cleaning that thing up, another 2 hours fixing all the on-off switches. Then I get to go, and it's looking like he's wanting me to recap it with these non-actual lead capacitors. Just the wrong part to use, but I'd wire it around and make it work. Another couple hours there. So we're looking at what, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours? And then we actually get to go run it. So he's looking at about $425 just for the physical work, and then plus the added cost of the tubes. Oh man, look at that. Look at it fall. Hope everybody can see that. It swung up there like it was going to do something, but now it's It's all the way down there at about 40 now. Man, bummer. You reach a point where it's just not cost effective. You know, it's like, I don't know what he's got in this thing so far for money. Like, he had to buy this from somebody. And, I mean, you could be a couple $1,000s into fixing this 10 tube Phantom. Is it worth it? I mean, literally, he's going to be over $1,000 at this point. Replacing the tubes plus my time to get it running. And then he's got to ask himself whatever he's got into it for his money when he bought it, plus the shipping to get it here, plus the shipping to get it home. That's why I try not to work on these unless they have some serious family sentimental value to them, if that makes any sense. They've got to be very important, because you reach that point where they're just not worth it. Oh, another 40. Oh, dropping again. 49. Oh, 42. That's a 42. Bad. Okay, last one. That's another thing, is like, I don't charge all this time. Like, the time that we're out here, we're evaluating things, we're looking at things, we're using my electricity, we're filming it, editing it, putting it on YouTube, whatnot. I don't charge for any of that, and I don't feel anybody should ever. You know what I mean? This is a courtesy thing that we got going on here. Looks good, looks good, looks good. God, none of them have got grid emission issues or shorts on them. That's... Oh. We found the matching one to this one over here. Did we? Did we? Did we? Here it comes. Oh, we're going through the butter zone. We're going through the questionable. Oh, keep going. Come on, you got it in you. Let's hit the life test button. That'll make it read a little bit better. Nope. 60. Oh, bummer. This is also, I gotta declare this a dud as well. Okay, so out of our 10 tubes, we have 9 that won't come above the safety margin. Some of these are incredibly low. 0, 20. This one's 25. So these two could actually kind of put together, but they're still, it's 60 or below, these two tubes. These two could be paired together. That's a 10, a 0, and a 38. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We have one of them that's at a 70-ish. It's like 68. So we'll just say, to keep the math easy, 10 tubes at $50 a piece-ish is $500 plus the $425 on my end of it. So he's looking to have a working amplifier out of here is going to be $925 before shipping, on top of what he's already paid to get this amp here and get the amp. That's a bummer. That's the downside to a sweep tube amplifier. Usually 99% of the time it's the tubes are run to zero. They kept trying to run it anyhow. The tubes arced out or shorted over or something went bad and it blew up the rest of the box. And they keep driving it with more and more power to get a couple more watts out of it instead of just retubing it. So on this note, this is where I got to pick up the old telephone AIA. And let me call this guy and let's see what he has to say. This might be the end of the story right here. Who knows? He might be willing to jump in on $1,000 for this thing. I don't know. We'll see. Let me make a phone call. We'll come back and let you know. Ever shoot a whole segment and then as you're wrapping up that whole segment, it dawns on you that you didn't bother to turn on your lapel microphone? It happens about every other day here. Okay, I called my guy Mr. V. Mr. V brought me up to speed with what was going on in his life. Now, we went over this thing, we tested all of this, and we figured out what it would cost to actually get this thing running. It's going to need a new set of tubes, and it's going to need the high voltage section recapped. Here's the caps for the high voltage section. He's not interested in doing this. He's got other bigger things on his plate right now. He says to me, he goes, well, what about all the other stuff? And I said, yes, I know, buddy. And he goes, well, he goes, listen, I just need to get rid of all of that stuff. I said, okay. So we're going to work this like this. This poor guy has had some serious health problems take place here in the last 6 months. And we're just going to basically go through everything he's got here. This is a whirlwind. This is part one of, well, many pieces. I'm going to show you here in just a second. This guy bought this, sent it here, sat here for about 5-6 months, and then he went on a buy-in spree. And he bought all kinds of stuff off of eBay. I mean, all kinds of stuff off of eBay. Well, instead of having most of this stuff actually sent to him, he sent it here. And I've been sitting on this stuff now for almost a year, and it's time for it to go away. And he goes, look, I want you to very quickly go through all these different pieces of equipment. I want you to evaluate them. If they're worth repairing and you feel like you should put your time and your money into it to get it going, do it. If not, just trash them, throw it away. This is not worth us fixing, in my opinion, because of the cost of the tubes. There is a guy out there that would give his left nut for this. I just know it. Do I know him? I don't know. Are the odds of it me knowing him? Pretty good. So we're going to run with that. We're going to put this up for $300 as it sits. You got one good tube out of the song and dance here. The SCs are all pretty low, but there might be the guy out there that's got a pile of these tubes, but it's got a problem with his Phantom. Now, I look at this and I see a bag of parts. I do. I see a bunch of on-off switches, indicator lights, meters, the D&A actual labeled meters, the knobs, that kind of stuff, the sockets, the transformers, the fan, and all these other miscellaneous parts. I see those as valuable components. Why are they valuable? They're not replaceable. There might be a guy out there that's got himself a D&A that's got 2 transformers that are out in it, and he knows if he just gets himself another transformer but can't find them, he's in top shape. I don't know. To me, I've scrapped about, I don't know, I inherited a whole bunch of sweep tube linears from a CB shop that closed, and I went through and I gutted all of those things down to the bare bones, and then went and donated to cases and most of the stuff that I didn't think was any good. It went to our local electronic recycler joint, and I noticed within about a week all of those parts are gone. So I know somebody out there is going to find that this is probably worth a couple $100 or, you know, $300 your best offer plus the ride out of here. Yours. Now let me show you the little small mountain that we're going to go climb today together. And all of these videos are going to, all these different pieces of equipment that are going to come up are going to have their own separate little video shot today. We're going to try and go through all of these boxes today so they'll be available to you guys as quickly as possible. So let me go grab them. We're going to set them all up here on the bench and we're going to get started. Okay, so let's start. Let me walk over here. Oh, my little buddy, the skeleton. Come here. And you. And you. So, what do we got? Unknownium. Don't know. Little fat boy, probably a 2-pill. Old one here. This is a... It's like a trucker special is what that is. This little skeleton 100 I have been through, top to bottom. It's got 220, 290s in it. It works like a raped animal. Went through that here just the last week or so ago because I was bored. Yeah, I know. I said in a previous segment that I normally take this amount of time off. Come on. Thank you. There's a couple little boxes in here. There's a little 2-meter amplifier. This is a 2 watt in, 100 watt out, 2-meter amplifier. There's another little Palomar 250 we're going to go through real quick. Oh, this is one of my old favorites, the Eagle 300. That's got 20 Toshibas in it. This is a X-Force Blue Label X40 that we've got to run through real fast. Oh my God, I built my very first MOSFET box in one of these little guys. This is a, come on. At least this has got good power wire on it. Okay, so it's a gray 300 with a whole lot of heavy duty power wire on it. This brings back fond memories for me. Midnight Special 250. This has got probably some DEIs in it or something. We'll find out. I took one of these a couple years ago. I say a couple, God, that dates me right there. 11 years ago, and built my very first IRF 520 box in this because the box was junk. I pulled the board out, I used the heatsink in the cabinet, put down a piece of phenolic, and went to building. Ended up using the IRF or ERF 7530 after I did the 520s and figured out how to make those work. But that was back when those transistors are garbage. Let's see, what do we got here? This is a Texas Star, cool. Oh, back when the handicap were building boxes. And no, it's not a dig at who you think it's gonna be, because he had nothing to do with the company. Here's another one, and a little Dave made. Okay. So this is an M80. It's a little 1-pill Dave made. And I got to face these upside down. They've got this guy's contact information all over them. Little Palomar TX50. Here's another 2-meter amp. Yeah, this is 152 megahertz, 130 watt, 20 to 40 watt input power, 2-meter amplifier. Big old brick. A handicap box, which is filthy and disgusting. It's a Pride 100, but we'll try and get that all cleaned up. And a little Killer B250 Texas Star. We'll evaluate all of these, and they're going to stand on their own merits as we go. Let's see, what else? Another little Pride 100 and an X-Force 100 amp switch mode power supply. Oh, there we go. And a Palomar Elite 600. That belongs to the same cat. Really should have been more organized. I'm sorry for the delay, you guys. But I just thought it'd be more entertaining to do it this way. Holy smokes, that opens up a little hole on the shelf. So over here, we've got a 100 amp switch mode power supply by X-Force and another Pride 100. These were built by the Handicap probably 40 years ago, these guys. So anybody that's running around that's 53 years old claiming to use this name, yeah, they're lying to you. Because we went and found the people that did this, and they've never even heard of that dude. So anywho, we're just saying, all of this is going to go up for sale. And if I manage to make it through all of this today, this will be my new personal best. Well, no, because there was that one time when my buddy Zane at Big Rig Radio showed up over here with 8 giant totes full of amplifiers, and I fixed all of them in 5 days. It's just from handling them, getting them off the shelf. Let us begin. Now, this is where the Phantom amplifier video ends, and we're going to start doing the rest of these videos. We're going to knock each one of these out individually. Dink, 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 dink. I can't wait to see what's inside this 100 amp power supply. I bet you it's 3 30 amp modules. How much we want to bet. But we're going to go through the list. The power supply is going to be on its own 2 legs, and then we're just going to start working through each one of these as we go. So on that note, gentlemen, call me if you're interested in the Pride for parts, or not the Pride, but the Phantom, 10 tube Phantom. Like I said, $300 or best offer plus the ride. We're moving on up to the east side to a deluxe amplifier apartment in the sky. Moving on